Hi, I'm Natasha. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Cable, and this is Julian, our sales lead. And we're here to help you turn compliance into a growth enabler. Regulated banks that partner with fintechs or BaaS platforms have been under the regulator's microscope. Some of these banks have had to cease or slow onboarding customers because of BSA and AML concerns. The head of the OCC has even called these relationships regulatory arbitrage and has stated that they need to define more clearly what is acceptable in bank-fintech relationships. For a lot of these banks, growing their fintech programs is their greatest revenue opportunity. And so the risk is huge if the partner banks or their fintechs get their BSA compliance wrong. We're Cable, and if you are a partner bank, a BaaS platform, or a fintech that works with a partner bank or BaaS platform, we let you know in real time if you are compliant with BSA regulation, and we let you turn compliance into a growth enabler. We're going to show you how our product works, and just so you know, we'll be clicking through a demo instance of our app. It's just the same as our production environment, but with a nice, clean set of data. So let's pretend for a moment that you are the BSA officer, head of compliance, head of operations, or CEO at a fintech called SparkleCard. Cable sits alongside your KYC, screening, and transaction monitoring tools, monitoring 100% of your accounts in real time. Cable shows you right here if you've had any regulatory breaches or control failures. And if you have, Cable clearly shows you whether you have fixed or risk accepted them. And if you have risk accepted them, Cable shows you which areas of the financial crime framework you have risk accepted them in. If you're a head of compliance, you can immediately understand how your risk is trending over time and decide if you can grow more quickly to increase revenue. Cable alerts you in real time to these regulatory breaches and control failures. And within each of these alerts, you can communicate with your team about what has happened and how you can remediate the problem. Cable provides a neat workflow tool to track your actions. You can mark accounts as in review or remediated, and there's even an audit log of every action that you take for peace of mind. When you're ready to close out the issue, Cable nudges you to be clear about whether you are fixing the issue or whether you're risk accepting it. At SparkleCard, you probably have to do an annual BSA audit. It can be stressful going into an audit, not knowing what might be found. But not if you have Cable. Cable shows you every single day each of the areas of the BSA regulations that are relevant to you, and it lists out all of the regulatory requirements and the controls that you have in place, and shows you if you're compliant or not with each one. If you're the CEO or COO and you're concerned about the increased regulatory scrutiny on partner bank fintech relationships, this is a great page to come to get a quick overview of your real-time compliance. As a fast-growing fintech with a team of people doing PEP, OFAC, and transaction monitoring reviews, you might want to do some QA to make sure that the right decisions are being made. The more comfortable that you can get with those manual decisions, the more quickly you can decide whether you can grow to increase revenue. Cable lets you set up any number of types of QA. It pulls the random sample of accounts for you to review, and you can load in any number of questions that you would like answered to make sure that your policy is being followed. Those questions can differ for every single type of QA that you set up. And when you've answered those questions and you're ready to close the QA, Cable automatically produces summary charts for you so that you know how the outcomes have worked and you can dive more deeply into certain problem areas. There is even a month-by-month analysis of those results so that you can see trends over time. If you're the head of operations or COO, you can immediately see how manual work is being performed and make those growth decisions more quickly. Let's talk about reporting for a moment. If you are at SparkleCard, you're probably spending hours a month producing reports. And if you work with a partner bank or even multiple partner banks, that might be hours a week. Cable lets you produce the reports with just a few clicks, including all of the relevant information and giving you a downloadable, editable report that you can share with your key stakeholders. Now, I hope you all agree that if you're the head of compliance, BSA officer, head of operations, or CEO at a fintech, that sounds like $1 million. You don't need to worry about the increased regulatory scrutiny of partner banks and fintech relationships. And like Cable's customers, you too can save up to 3 FTEs to grow your core market. You can enter new markets more quickly. And you can reduce the time spent producing reports by up to 60%. But what if you're a partner bank? Well, don't worry, because Cable lets you see all of your fintech programs in one place. It has the right regulatory requirements based on what those fintech programs do. So if you have a B2B fintech program, you'll see the KYB requirements. And each fintech program can have their own unique set of controls as well. You, as the license holder, do not need to worry about that increased regulatory scrutiny on the relationships you have with your fintech programs. Instead, you can focus on understanding the real-time compliance of all of your fintech programs. So, if you are a partner bank, a BaaS platform, or a fintech that works with partner banks or BaaS platforms, don't worry about being the next example used by the regulators to send a message to the industry. Just use Cable. Cable lets you know in real time if you're compliant with those BSA regulations. Cable lets you turn compliance into a growth enabler. We're going to be downstairs at our booth for the rest of today and for tomorrow, so if you're interested in learning more, please come and find us. Thank you very much.